Hello everybody! Welcome back to more ClanGen! It is not time for year 2 of RubbleClan, not yet, but I mentioned at the end of their year 1 video that I made 3 other clans to go along with them, and that I mentioned that for HoundClan I really wanted to make a video about them because they had drama. So we're gonna do HoundClan! They're kind of the evil one of the bunch, and like I said, they have plenty of drama besides that. They'll be the only other clan I do this for because of how interesting they are and also their connections to RubbleClan. Although I will keep you updated on how RubbleClan and MissClan are doing each year as well, and maybe one day in the future they'll get their own little background video to talk about how they've been doing. More in depth, at least. Speaking of RubbleClan, I realized I kind of forgot to mention that right now RubbleClan is kind of separated from the other clans. They know that the other clans exist, thanks to some of their other members being clan cats from other clans, but they don't know where they are right now. Right now their territory is like right here, and the other clans are like over there. So yeah, RubbleClan, MissClan, and HoundClan don't know about RubbleClan yet. Also, I should mention that for ClanGen in general, the game treats it as if this is the beginning of a new clan. That's usually how it works. Every clan you make is like a brand new clan. But HoundClan, RubbleClan, and MissClan in my lore are already established clans, so they've been around for way longer than RubbleClan. So a lot of the stuff before the first 12 moons are made up by me. Basically, for the older 3, imagine we're plopping down in the middle of their reign instead of the beginning. So, welcome to year 1 of HoundClan. Let's start with the story and with the old leader, who is not in the game but was made up for lore purposes. HoundClan was once a large and mighty clan who shared the giant redwood forest with RubbleClan and MissClan. However, tragedy struck when Two Legs came in and destroyed the forest with fire and monsters. The clans were forced to run, crossing the mountains to find a new home. They found a similar forest, but HoundClan refused to share the territory. They chased the other clans out and kept it all to themselves. MissClan was forced towards the ocean, and RubbleClan to the nearby meadows, with threats and skirmishes between the clans happening constantly. This wasn't the end of their struggles, however. HoundClan's leader, Mornstar, was plagued by nightmares of starry skies being swallowed by dark forests. A harsh leaf bear and other dangers also left the clan starved and sickly. MissClan and RubbleClan weren't exactly eager to help them after what they'd done to them, and so the clan started to fall apart. Around this time, an older warrior called Hushbat grew furious with the situation. He believed they should attack the other clans again and make them regret not helping. The old leader Mornstar, however, refused. She believed it was a penance for their past, and knew their clan could survive with spring just around the corner. She feared the punishment more fighting might bring. Unfortunately, the warlike ambitions she and her predecessors had fostered weren't easy to get rid of. An enraged Hushbat decided to take matters into his own paws. He gathered cats who felt the same and tried to bolster them into taking down the leader and returning to their glory days. Some agreed, but others refused, including his very own son. Hushbat warned all cats who opposed him that if they fought for the old leader, they would not be forgiven, and prepared his attack plan. He never got the chance to finish his plan, though, because his son warned Mornstar of what he was doing. Mornstar and his son confronted him in front of the entire clan and tried to warn him against what he was doing, about how nothing good could come of this, and that StarClan didn't want them to fight. Hushbat wouldn't back down, however, and attacked his son in a furious rage. Clanmate turned against clanmate in a brutal civil war. In the heat of the fight, Hushbat wounded his son badly, then turned and killed the clan's terrified elderly mediator, and then finally turned his sights on the leader. In a move that shocked everyone, Hushbat killed Mornstar, taking all of her 9 lives at once. StarClan was furious, and a lightning strike broke through the sky and caught the nearby trees on fire. Older clanmates panicked, remembering the flames that destroyed their old home. Younger clanmates quickly followed as well. When the fire finally died out, there weren't many cats left. They either died in the battle or died in the fire, including one of their medicine cats and the deputy of HoundClan. Some bodies were never found, including the body of Hushbat's son. With so few cats left and no cats left to oppose him, Hushbat rose up and became Hushstar. He promises to restore his clan to its former glory, and make the other clans regret every misstep against them. As for the events of this year, Hushstar has continued his reign of terror. He allows outsiders to join only because he desperately needs new warriors, but he has made it clear to all of them that leaving isn't allowed. The second they step paw in their territory, they're in it for life. He's also harsh on anyone who stands up to him, whether they were a clanmate from the beginning or an outsider, leading to one of the cats in the clan being attacked by him and one of his major supporters near the end of the year, but more on that later. He's also a father again. He currently has 2 young sons, Olivepaw and Hushpaw. Yeah, Hushstar named his son Hushpaw. The absolute audacity. You may be surprised to hear this, but he is not the best father. He is very strict with his young sons, especially after the rebellion of his eldest. He wants them to turn out like the type of warriors HoundClan needs, brutal and ruthless, not weak and soft like his oldest son. Speaking of the eldest, he holds no remorse for his actions towards them. He sees them warning Mornstar as a betrayal, and hopes that they died painfully in the fire. Speaking of death, there is a secret he's been keeping from his other clanmates. He does not have 9 lives, he only has 1. He did go to StarClan to get his 9 lives, but when he got there it was empty. His clan had been abandoned. Just like with his eldest son, Hushstar sees this as an unfair betrayal. But he hasn't told any of his clan about this. He keeps the secret and is claiming to have his 9 lives. Kind of like Nightstar, except if Nightstar was evil. But because of only having 1 life, he's also extremely paranoid. Which isn't surprising for several reasons, I guess. Besides the 1 life thing, he is bloodthirsty and many of the cats in the clan also were, so there's always a chance he could be betrayed, just like he betrayed Mornstar. He makes sure to keep a strong front around all of them, and keeps his intimidating glare at all times. He will not be weak like the old leader. He will run HoundClan with the strength it needs, and he dares anyone who opposes him to try and take him down. This way, the cats look at him as someone to be feared, instead of someone who could be taken down at a moment's notice. I would move on to our deputy next, but HoundClan doesn't have one right now. They've actually gone through 2 already, so I'll move on to StarClan next, for a little bit. For our StarClan guide, we have the adventurous medicine cat Firebloom. He is a formidable fighter and fast runner, but neither of these were enough to save him from the battle and death that day. He was horrified by all that occurred, but even more horrified to find StarClan practically abandoned once he arrived there. It seemed all their ancestors had given up on their clan and wandered elsewhere to avoid the shame. Firebloom, however, couldn't find it in themselves to leave. He knew that there were plenty of terrible cats in HoundClan, but he also remembered that some cats had the bravery to try and stand up against Hushstar. Even Hushstar's own son stood up against him. Even if they lost, they still tried. Surely some cats could see the error of their ways and be welcomed into StarClan. As the last of the StarClan cats left, that meant they were in charge. He decided to welcome as many cats as he could to StarClan, and he would try and show them the error of their ways. He knows he can't save everyone, but he thinks many of them still deserve a second chance, or don't deserve the Dark Forest at all. It's a lot of work, but he's the only cat left that can do it. He often thinks about the old StarClan cats, though, and wonders where they may have gone. Unfortunately, his new status as HoundClan's StarClan guide means that he can't really leave. He would feel guilty even if he did, especially with there actually being cats in StarClan now who need his guidance. He thinks about Mornstar a lot, too. They were close in life, and he hopes that wherever she has found some peace. With all that lore out of the way, and with our StarClan guide, we can move on to the actual year. So everything from now on is stuff that actually happened in the game, but we'll still add to the lore as we go. Starting with the other cats in StarClan, we have the bloodthirsty Claw Ash. They were the first deputy of the newly overtaken HoundClan, a strange choice to all the cats, as they were very young. They were a brand new warrior at the time, not like the experienced cat that Hushstar had on his side, but they were his old apprentice, a cat he already had a good amount of influence over and could easily keep under his paw. Unfortunately, they were killed by an invading gang of rogues in the first moon of the game. Upon their arrival to StarClan, they were horrified to find it empty. They learned from Firebloom about the departure of all StarClan cats, including Claw Ash's own family. They're currently heartbroken and confused, having been indoctrinated by Hushstar so much that the reality of StarClan after his takeover leaves them reeling with confusion. They spend a lot of time gazing down on HoundClan and wondering if they were a good deputy, trying to decide if they were really as manipulated as Firebloom says they were. As of the incident I mentioned above, they seem to be swaying towards the belief that they were, but that realization leads them to hiding away even more. They're not sure how to handle it. The next StarClan cat, the bold Tadpole Stripe, was killed on the same attack as Claw Ash. They were a warrior during the coup, and initially fought on the side of Hushstar. However, they didn't realize just how brutal Hushstar's plans were until they watched him kill Mornstar. As the fire struck, the terrified Tadpole Stripe ran away. After this, he found refuge with some loners, and stayed with them for a while. He even fell in love, but before deciding to stay, he knew he needed to return to his old territory to see if anyone had made it out. He was terrified to see Hushstar as the leader, but it was too late to leave. He lied about where he'd been, to protect his love, and was welcomed back, if only because he had initially supported Hushstar. Then, he died. While he was initially scared of the emptiness of StarClan, he adapted a lot quicker than Claw Ash. He would have spent more time helping them understand, but he was distracted and terrified by the sight of his mate, Fur, now Furflame, joining the clan with her 3 kits. She had come looking for him, and it was too late to leave now. I decided that he is Furflame's mate and the son of the 3 kits after he spent several moons in StarClan watching one of the kits and trying to send them StarClan dreams. He watches over his family constantly, but there's only so much he can do to protect them while he's in StarClan. And he was forced to watch Hushstar and another cat attack his mate for standing up to the leader. He's furious and angry, and spends a lot of time watching over his kits and mate, with guilt and regret for ever coming back to the clan. He keeps thinking about the what-ifs, wondering how much more peaceful his life would have been if he had stayed away and had raised their kits outside of the clan, or if he would have ended up back there anyway. He's not sure. He also spends a lot more time alone now because the childish Stumpy Clash is also in StarClan now. Stumpy Clash was a huge supporter of Hushstar and basically worshipped the ground he walked on. He took any opportunity to show his loyalty, which included joining in the attack on Furflame when Hushstar requested his assistance. He, Hushstar, and Furflame all came out injured, however, because she put up a fight, but he didn't care. Hushstar obviously favored him a lot more after that, and he was extremely happy about this fact until he was murdered in the medicine den in such a way that nearly all his clanmates assumed he died from his wounds. He was enraged. He doesn't even listen to Firebloom because he is completely obsessed with revenge, which is why he was extremely happy when his murderer died and went to the Dark Forest. He was prepared to go in there and teach them a lesson himself when he was stopped by Firebloom. The StarClan guide, despite being a kind-hearted cat, had his own limits, and he very firmly warned Stumpy Clash that if he went into the Dark Forest and killed his killer, continuing the cycle of revenge, he isn't coming back to StarClan. For once, this made Stumpy Clash think about his actions. He hasn't gone in the Dark Forest, but he also hasn't stopped thinking about it. He spends most of his days along the border between StarClan and the Dark Forest, pacing and waiting to see any sight of his murderer. Firebloom's warning is still present in his mind, but who knows if he'd hear it over his own rage. Before we move on to his killer, there is still one more cat in StarClan, the charismatic U-Spots. She was already pretty old at the time of the takeover, but still a warrior, mainly for her excellent hunting skills. But her age was enough to make the hypocritical Hushbat decide against pitching his coup to her. She and her hunting patrol came back to the clan just in time to see Mornstar murdered and the fire. In the aftermath, U-Spots felt like she really had nowhere to go. She had a few loved ones left alive and she didn't want to leave them, especially with the clan short on paws. She stayed and thankfully avoided most of Hushstar's wrath with her hunting and den building skills. She was great friends with Partridge Snap, and they loved building dens together and secretly reminiscing and sharing tales of lost clanmates. She tried her best to cheer up Doveprance, but the gloomy cat pulled away from them in the aftermath. She finally retired in the 7th moon, only to die of white cough soon after. She was heartbroken to find StarClan empty, meaning a lot of her old friends had disappeared before she could see them again. But she was relieved to see Firebloom. She decided against leaving, and chose to stay in StarClan so her still living loved ones wouldn't be alone when they arrived like she had been. She feels a lot better in StarClan, but her heart still aches as she watches over the clan from above. Finally, let's move on to the bloodthirsty Cliffdazzle. She was our second deputy, and a cruel one from the start. She supported Hushstar's coup from the beginning, and his cruel murder of the leader only excited her more. Finally, she thought, some cat who knows how to lead. She's also a formidable fighter and very cocky about it. She was upset to not be his chosen deputy, but she saw his genius in picking his old apprentice as a moldable cat. Surely Claw Ash wouldn't be around for too long, and she was proven right when the cat died. Cliffdazzle was proud to take on the position and served Hushstar loyally, but her cockiness and ego towards her position often led her to make mistakes. Like when she laughed at a kitty pet who wanted to join the clan and got cat punched in the face by them in front of a whole patrol. That incident spread around the camp pretty quickly after it happened, and Hushstar constantly reminded her that he needed a strong cat as his deputy, not one who would fall to the soft blow of a kitty pet. This only made her more and more desperate to prove herself. She was also tough on her apprentice Tigerpaw, who she disliked from the start. She thought of him and his family as outsiders not worthy of HoundClan glory, and secretly wished she could have mentored one of Hushstar's kits instead. Surely that would have shown her loyalty, which was why, when Hushstar chose Stumpy Clash to help him punish Furflame, she was enraged. She could see the leader favored Stumpy Clash afterwards. Why did he get that, after she worked so hard to prove herself? But unlike Stumpy Clash, she is not childish. She is bloodthirsty and calculated. She went to the medicine den in the dead of night and killed him by clawing at his fresh wounds, making it look like he died from them. But her faith in Hushstar is now shaken. She started thinking about ways to kill him in a similar, accidental way. She was so focused on her plans that she barely cared when Tigerpaw switched to become a medicine cat. She even adopted a kit she found abandoned to make sure she'd have a legacy in the future, and started going on solo patrols in search of deathberries or dogs she could lure to Hushstar. However, she stumbled upon a gang of rogues one day, and her skills were no match for their numbers. She died alone, and woke up in the dark forest. She's no fool. She knows she belongs there, but that doesn't stop her plans. She now wanders the endless dark forest alone, glaring over at the StarClan side as she waits for the perfect living cat, who she can train to take down Hushstar when she couldn't, and she thinks she may have found the perfect one. Oh, that was already a lot. Like I said, these cats have drama. So now that we're through with the dead drama, let's get to the living drama. There's no deputy, like I said, so our first cat is the head medicine cat Flower Patch. She was adventurous from a young age, and that continued into her apprenticeship. At the half-moon meetings and in her dreams, she found herself drawn to the dark forest instead of StarClan. Old HoundClan cats were happy to welcome her, teaching her about forbidden plants and training her in ways no medicine cat should know. She was an excellent healer with the potential to kill, and the only one who knew about Hushstar's true plan to kill the leader, due to their respect for one another. She avoided the fighting, but not the fire, gaining the scar on her face from falling branches. StarClan no longer speaks to her, but they never really did. She doesn't bother with prophecies, and instead focuses on life after the coup. She tries not to think about the death of Firebloom, who was her apprentice that she clashed with a lot over their differing beliefs. She always saw them as too kind-hearted and soft, but she will admit she does miss that now that he's gone. She took the orphan kit Brown Kit as her apprentice, despite several cats eager to take her as their own apprentice, because she knew she couldn't handle being the only medicine cat now. Tiny Clan or not, HoundClan was still reckless and bloodthirsty. Brown Kit struggled under her teachings at first, but managed to prove herself to her mentor. Then, something unexpected happened to Flower Patch. Dove Prance confessed to her. They had been friends before, but the aftermath of the coup left them separated, Dove Prance in mourning and Flower Patch hiding her involvement with Hushstar as a secret. But she accepted the confession, and soon found herself reciprocating the love. Despite their old age, they ended up having one kit, Beam Kit, who is the light of their life, perfectly enough. Seeing the innocence in her son's eyes and the love in Dove Prance's, along with her own feelings, is leaving Flower Patch conflicted about her past and her dark forest connection. Firebloom's visits to her dreams only serve to confuse her more. And due to her medicine cat position, she's had a front row seat to see the struggles and heartbreak that have come from this situation. How Furflame's 3 kits have become even more closed off and sad after this incident. She can't help but continue to imagine the what-ifs of this situation if it was her and her family. Would Hushstar go after them too? She already knows very well how Dove Prance feels about Hushstar, and it isn't a good thing. She can only imagine what Beamkit might think in the future too. What if one of them were the target of his rage? She's starting to wonder, after a long time, is this really the leader she wanted? And since she's pictured beside her, I'll talk a little about Dove Prance too. The gloomy cat is still unaware of Flower Patch's involvement in Hushstar's plot, her focus mainly on her love for her mate and kit. She was retired, but left retirement to become the clan's new mediator. Hushstar cares little for the position, and since Dove Prance is too old for much else, he lets her keep the title without much fight, since she's not a threat. She is a little worried about how her clanmates view her, but does her best to mediate regardless. She's managed to help with a few arguments, mainly with cats who join the clan as outsiders. Despite all that's happened, she feels content with her life. She has the mate she loves, a beautiful son, and a position that, while she doubts was the right choice, gives her a purpose in the small clan. Though that hasn't stopped her from worrying about what the future may bring, especially after the incident with Furflame. She's thought about bringing this up to Flower Patch, but is nervous about being overheard, especially with the medicine den and nursery being so full. Speaking of the medicine den, our next healer is the fierce Burnet Shade. She was once a medicine cat in another clan, but left to join HoundClan. I'm not sure where she could be from, but I'm leaning towards RubbleClan because of their rule against medicine cats having kits. So I'm guessing she left to escape their rule, and due to RubbleClan and MissClan's strong bond, she knew she wouldn't be able to escape for the shame there. She isn't exactly a fan of Hushstar, and he wasn't enthused about welcoming a cat from the hated clans. However, her fierce nature and his own pettiness made him decide to accept her in her kits. Conquer Kit, Plover Kit, and Twig Kit. Unfortunately, Plover Kit was soon diagnosed with wasting disease. Burnet Shade is hoping that she will survive past her kithood, and did her best to hide her worry from the kit. But the oddly observant Plover Kit was easily able to figure out something was wrong. Burnet Shade gave the best kit-friendly explanation she could to her 3 children, which led to Plover Kit becoming a bit of a bully in response, with the 2 other quiet kits unsure of how to handle it. She knows this is tough on her children, but she makes sure to discipline Plover Kit properly. She knows this is tough for her children, and is trying their best to help them understand it, but she still makes sure to discipline Plover Kit properly when she bullies her siblings or the other kits. She wants her children to be fine warriors, not little terrors. And if Plover Kit doesn't make it, as much as she hates thinking about it, she also wants to make sure the little kit doesn't terrorize the poor StarClan cats until she joins her there. At the moment, she's still recovering from birth in the nursery, and is thankful to Partridge Snap and Dove Prance for helping her with her kits, so she could get rest every now and then. Our next cat is the nervous Daisy Spike, who is also from another clan, but I couldn't say for certain which one. They joined the clan at Moon 11, so they've only been around for a short time, but I think they already kinda regret it. They can tell the stories they heard from their old clan about HoundClan are mostly true, and it means every time he steps out of the medicine den, he feels like he's walking on eggshells, and that in any second a HoundClan cat will kill him for being too slow or too annoying. Their sneers of him being an outsider do not help his anxieties. The only time he feels he can relax is outside while collecting herbs or in the medicine den, but the den is always filled with someone injured, so he can't really relax there either. He's really struggling right now, but he can't really leave. Where would he go? His old clan wouldn't accept him back, and going up the mountains, in his mind, is even more terrifying. He just does his best to survive, but he did find an interest in teaching now that there's an apprentice in the medicine den. He likes the idea of getting his own apprentice in the future, but knows he can never work up the courage to ask for one. That, combined with how full the medicine den is right now, means that his teaching dream will probably only remain that, a dream. The last of our medicine cats, at least the full ones, is the young Brown Rapid. She was Flower Patch's apprentice, and is currently not having a good time. She was orphaned at a young age, the only kit in camp for some time. It made her into a very quiet and serious kit, trying to stay brave in the face of everything. She spent her childhood basically being pulled around by the adults who wanted to have her as an apprentice. Not because they wanted to teach, but because they wanted to be deputy, and you need an apprentice to be qualified. To say she was relieved that Flower Patch chose to be her mentor would be an understatement. Her relief did not make her apprenticeship any easier, however. Flower Patch was a tough mentor to please, and Brown Rapid kept annoying her mentor by accident, struggled to find herbs, and was anxious about tending wounds. She found a way to vent her stress after sneaking out of camp and stumbling upon a river in their territory. She became a good swimmer because of it. Her passion finally found her when they went to gather cobwebs, and Flower Patch taught her about all of their uses. She was in awe that something so small could be so important, and found her passion for healing ignited at last. She grew less anxious and more playful. She's even been secretly going outside the territory, but has only been caught once by her old mentor, who didn't say anything. Unfortunately, all of her work has stopped. She was caught in a two-leg trap and is currently recovering from a heavily injured leg. She's upset and misses going out to explore and swim. It doesn't help that she keeps getting startled awake by vivid StarClan dreams she can't make sense of, nor that Hush Star suddenly gave her Tiger Paw as an apprentice. She babysat him when she was an apprentice. They're not strangers, but he seems so anxious and nervous all of a sudden that she can't help but worry about him. She knows those feelings well. She's doing her best to teach him what she can until her leg heals, and make sure he knows that he can talk to her about anything. Strangely, out of all the cats in the clan, Hush Star seems to trust her the most. I think it has to do with his trust in Flower Patch, seeing her as a replacement child, and maybe the fact that such a tiny kit managed to survive the tragedies of their clan. This strength and persistence is making him think about his choices for the next deputy, and what he would be willing to do to get a trustworthy cat in that spot. Now on to our warriors, starting with the elderly Partridge Snap, who is still not retired. He's oblivious, although I think it's more of a purposeful oblivious. Like U-Spots, he survived the coup and knows he's far too old to take on Hush Star. He and U-Spots managed to keep their spots in the clan through their excellent den building skills, and this is still what he does the most. He did mentor Hatchpaw, and seemed to be an excellent mentor because they're already a warrior at 10 moons old. He thinks this is far too young still, but there's no arguing with Hush Star. With U-Spot's death and Dove Prance pulling away, he feels more lonely than ever. He misses his old friends, which is part of the reason he won't retire. Before the coup and the fire, he always imagined them retiring together to the Elder's Den, being pampered by the apprentices and coming up with bizarre stories, but now it's far too empty and lonely. He'd much rather work to take his mind off of things, including the slow decline of their clan. When he's not building dens or out patrolling, he can be often found staring up at the night sky, reminiscing about happier times when he wasn't all alone. His old apprentice, Hatch Fox, does spend time with him, though that only eases the ache in his heart a little bit. The next cat is Cosmos Fern, whose name I always get wrong because of that dang S in the middle. Anyways, Cosmos Fern is a strict cat, who was originally in a group of rogues that were quite similar to HoundClan in terms of violence, hunting for food and chasing away any cat who dared to try stop them. But then, something terrible happened. The rogue group ran into Claw Ash and Tadpole Stripe, and the leader of their group decided to ambush and kill them outright. Cosmos Fern knew of the clans, especially HoundClan, and their reputation, but the act of ambushing 2 cats and killing them for no reason was too much for him. Perhaps he was just getting old, but he couldn't stay in a group like that after seeing the 2 younger cats die before they could even put up a fight. His guilt led him to HoundClan, but left him trapped under a different tyrannical leader. But now it was either stay in HoundClan or get attacked by his old group, so he opted to stay. He is friends with most of the other outsiders in the clan, especially Willowthrift, Burnitshade, and Furflame. He's also the mentor to Furflame's son, Hazelpaw. He likes the warrior code a lot after living in a lawless rogue group and follows it religiously, which means he holds a lot of disdain for Hushstar's actions to break it. He knows he could never do anything against Hushstar on its own, and he's been in the clan for less than a year and his age isn't helping. Instead, the best he can do is teach his apprentice well and hope the younger generation can make the changes he never could. The next cat is Willowthrift, who is also strict, so I drew him here with his fellow by-the-book buddy, Cosmos Fern. Willowthrift is a loner who used to live in a barn, although he mostly avoided Two Legs. He had to leave after the Two Legs chased him out and ended up in the forest where he was found by Furflame and decided to join. Despite his reservations towards Hushstar, he was very curious about clan life, and a moon later, Uspot's death introduced them to the concept of StarClan. He's very interested in the clan's history and culture, and spent some time with each position learning about them so he could better understand. He was especially curious about there being a mediator in a clan like HoundClan. He found a fast friend in Cosmos Fern who shared a similar personality to him, and began to fall in love with the loving Furflame as well, the cat who took him in. He doesn't dare bring it up, as he knows she's still mourning her old mate, and her kits are still young. He was horrified when Furflame was attacked by the leader. Only Cosmos Fern's quick thinking and holding him back stopped him from being punished as well. He spends a lot more time in the medicine den now, visiting Furflame and Tigerpaw to make sure they're okay. He also spends a lot of time with her other kits, comforting them and helping them work through their feelings. But he's a lot busier now, as Hushstar also gave him Olivepaw, his son, as an apprentice. Willowthrift is trying his best, but the amount of hero worship that Olivepaw has for his father is a little hard for him to deal with. They argue a lot, but Willowthrift still hopes he might be able to help the cat see just who his father really is, and that he can be his own cat, not whatever his father wants. The next cat is the Confident Civet Stripe. He's actually the newest addition to the clan, a loner who used to offer help to all those who wandered by before he found his way into the clan. It's hard to get a read on him right now, as he is brand new. He hasn't spoken to many cats and is still getting used to camp. He wasn't around for any of the incidents the other cats witnessed, so he's not really influenced one way or the other yet. The one thing about him that does stand out, however, is the massive scar on his tail. A lot of cats were curious about it, especially if it was some kind of awesome battle scar. However, he tends to use his good speaker skills to his advantage and changes the story every single time someone asks, the explanation becoming more and more elaborate with every cat that asked. Most cats think he's just being silly, but in reality, it's that the actual reason he got his scar was pretty embarrassing. Embarrassing enough that he can't bring himself to think about it or even tell the truth. He's fine with being seen as a comedian if it means nobody knows the truth. Right now, that's all we really know about him until he shows us more of his personality. The next cat is the unfortunate, loving Furflame. You've already heard a lot of her from the other cats and their stories, but there's still more to tell. She was a former loner who lived near some rivers, which is where she met Tadpole Stripe, funnily enough. They fell in love and enjoyed their time together before his past began to rear its ugly head. He told him to stay by the river. He would check on his clan and come back. But he never came back. She had heard horror stories of HoundClan, and she was going to stay at their old home, but a flood destroyed the territory and she barely made it out with their kits. With no other choice, she went to HoundClan to search for her mate, but he was dead. And Hushstar declared that the kits belonged to the clan of their father. He told her she could stay and be a loyal warrior with her kits, or she could be killed and the kits would lose both their parents. She opted to stay, but her disdain for Hushstar is well known. She's the most outspoken against him, which is what led to her standing up to him when the idea of war came up. She declared that he was a bloodthirsty monster, and he would die as horribly as he lived. While he and Stumpy Clash attacked her, she held her own, and they all left the encounter wounded. She's still recovering even now, with her son Tigerpaw at her side. She can tell something is wrong, and has asked Brown Rapid about it, but his mentor is just as confused. She also worries about the single kit currently in the clan, who is now an orphan after Cliffdazzle's death. Her biggest struggle right now is the desire to keep the people around her safe with someone like Hushstar always looming over her. She has so much love to share, but she has to battle against his hate to do so. Pictured with her in this image is her son Tigerpaw. This poor kid is about having as much fun as his mother is. He and his siblings were newborn kits when they were brought to the clan. They never even knew their father. As a kid, he tended to annoy the elder cats, and he and his siblings tried their best to cheer their mother up when they saw her sad. He liked to be in the medicine den and learn about herbs, but he still wanted to become a warrior. Unfortunately, his mentor was the bloodthirsty Clifdazzle. She was harsh with a terrible temper. Even the smallest mistakes or a simple question could lead to a clawed pelt and an angry lecture. He hated being her apprentice, and her harsh criticism left him feeling much farther behind his siblings. He tried to tough it out, thinking that if he could just make it to his assessment that everything would be fine. But then his mother was attacked by Hushstar. And in the aftermath, he decided to stay with her overnight in the den, and was the only witness to Clifdazzle's murder of Stumpy Clash. Tigerpaw was terrified. He knew that he couldn't face her for long before she'd realize what he knew. He jumped ship and moved to the medicine den, using the skills he already knew to prove himself. The medicine den is his safe haven, the only place where his anxiety seems to settle just a little bit. He hasn't told anyone what he's seen, and he barely speaks to his siblings at all, even after Clifdazzle's death, because he doesn't want to put them in any danger. He spends most of his times in the den, close by his mentor Brown Rapid and his mother Furflame. He trusts them both immensely, especially Brown Rapid after she brought him to the river to see if swimming would help him with his nerves. He knows he can talk to his mother and his mentor, and he does want to tell them what he saw, but he wants to wait until they're healthier, just in case something even worse happens. He could never forgive himself if he had to watch another cat die in front of him. Hornet Dusk is another one of our newer warriors who joined in the 5th moon. Unlike the rest of the loners in the clan, he loves Hushstar. He admires the leader a lot for his strength. After getting chased out of his old home by rogues, he's come to believe a harsh paw is what's needed to keep people safe. He admired Clifdazzle greatly and was in love with Stumpy Clash before his death. He used to patrol with them all the time, chasing out rogues or mocking other clan patrols with glee. He misses them both dearly, completely oblivious to the fact one of his friends murdered the other. He is currently the mentor to Hushstar's son, Hushpaw, a thing he sees as a great honor. He does his best to teach Hushpaw well, but spends a lot more time comparing the insecure cat to his father than actually teaching him. But when Hushpaw does do something impressive, Hornet Dusk is quick to brag about how much of that is due to his amazing teaching. Due to his charisma and cleverness, a lot of cats buy this statement, but he's not completely oblivious. He knows a lot of the other cats don't like Hushstar, and he's wondering how long he should wait before snitching to the leader. He's smart enough to realize that going to Hushstar about what he knows right now would just be basically spreading gossip. So he's decided to wait and see if any plots pop up, or if any cats start acting odd, so he can warn the powerful leader before he faces an unwarranted coup. If only he knew. Our last warrior is the young Hatch Fox, who was made a warrior early at 10 moons. He's the second of Furflame's 3 kits. He was mentored by Partridge Snap, and found the mentorship to be quite a weird one. He came out of it with a lot of den building skills, and I think this is where his valuable insight comes from. He's also influenced by his mentor to break the rules that don't suit him and to try and avoid violence. He turned into a strict, calm, and collected cat. This facade helps him appear tough and grown up, even around all the much older warriors. He was unable to keep a straight face, however, after witnessing his mother's harsh punishment, and is furious at Hushstar. It makes him even more worried about his 2 siblings, both of whom have been acting oddly. Unfortunately, his status as the youngest warrior gives him little time to actually spend with the apprentices or his siblings, as he's more often put on patrols or told to watch the kits. He really does try to find time for his siblings and his friend Hushpaw, but he can't stand Hornet Dusk, and he and Hazelpaw seem to be being ignored by Tigerpaw. He feels really frustrated because it seems like there's a lot more going on than he's privy to, and he just wants to know so he can keep his family safe. He's had to mature the quickest out of the trio, and it weighs on him more than he can admit, more than he would ever admit. Now we're on to our apprentices, starting with Tigerpaw and Hatch Fox's last brother, Hazelpaw. He was a quiet and shy kit from a young age, preferring to cuddle with his mother rather than play with the other kits. His shyness and anxiety towards the others was why Tadpole Stripe decided to spend time in Hazel Kit's dreams, speaking to the kit and trying to encourage them to enjoy their childhood, because he knew that with Hushstar in command, that innocence could be destroyed at any moment. With that encouragement, he was finally able to brave it and join the other kits in their games, although he keeps his StarClan dreams to himself after trying to tell Olivepaw about it. Olivepaw laughed and claimed that a half-clan cat like him wouldn't be cared about by StarClan. This is why nobody likes Olivepaw. He was apprenticed to Cosmos Fern, who approved of his righteous personality and enjoyed teaching him as Hazelpaw thrived under his tutelage, and has been very faithful in StarClan. However, his happiness was shattered the day he witnessed, along with almost everyone else in the camp, as his mother was attacked by the leader. He was heartbroken and angry, and he wanted to demand to his father, "Why would you let this happen?" His resolve towards his own family has grown even stronger, and he promises to protect all of them no matter what. He knows Hatch Fox is a warrior already, but he also knows his brother is overwhelmed and exhausted from proving himself over and over. He knows Tigerpaw is afraid, but he doesn't know why. More than anything, he wishes StarClan and his father could tell him what to do, or show him how to stop Hushstar's reign over the clan. As of right now, his mentor is the only one who knows the full extent of his feelings, as he keeps his rage a secret from his family as not to worry them. Although he does sometimes wish Hushstar would attack him next, so he could tear up the old leader's pelt and show him what a true clan cat fights for. Speaking of Hushstar, it's time to move on to his kits. He actually randomly returned with them to camp one day, but they're very obviously his kits. My current theory is that he mated with a loner on purpose to get a new lineage. She loved him and he promised she could join his clan, but never planned on following through with it. She was killed by a dog soon after the kits were born, and he just saw that as a loose end tied up. He showed up just in time to kill the dog and take the kits away, and didn't really feel much for the cat who had loved him so dearly. He didn't even bury her. He just left. Let's start with the insecure Hushpaw. He's not exactly had the best childhood. He was an anxious kid who was nervous around the others and hated play fighting, leading to the other kids teasing him, and his brother Olive Kit quickly became the favorite child. Hushstar pitted his two children against each other and was harsh on both of them, but Hush Kit especially. He didn't want a repeat of his first son. He wanted two strong, brave warriors who would follow his orders. He was mentored to Hornet Dusk, who, as I mentioned above, isn't exactly the best mentor. He feels very far behind both his brother and his best friend Hatch Fox. While Hatch Fox is a hard worker and deserves all of the praise he gets, he can't help but feel like his brother doesn't deserve any of it, especially after Hushpaw saved Conquer Kit from drowning and barely got any praise from it. He hates being forgotten and ignored. He hates that no matter how hard he tries, his father always forgets him. But then, he began to have strange dreams. Dreams about a forest tinted by red, and with water black as night and as thick as mud. He tried to tell his mentor, but Hornet Dusk can't make sense of it. For once, Hushpaw couldn't help his curiosity. He spends his nights in his dreams wandering through the dark forest, unaware of a certain ginger she-cat following him from afar each and every night. Next up is Olivepaw. His personality is strict, which I just realized I got wrong on the drawing, but apprentice personalities change, so it'll be different next time regardless. While he seems to be the favorite of his father, he's also under a lot of pressure. He looks a lot like the brother he never met, which makes Hushstar determined to keep an eye on him and make sure the past doesn't repeat itself. This cruelty left him desperate for his father's approval, and eventually he got it, at the expense of his less successful brother. Olivepaw can't find it in himself to care much, not when Hushstar is paying attention to him. He wants to show his father that he will be a good warrior and an even better heir, so he spends his time looking down on the other apprentices and listens to his mentor on everything but his opinion on Hushstar. Olivepaw doesn't see anything wrong with the way the clan is run, because his father is a strong and noble cat in his eyes. He doesn't have any friends due to this attitude, but he doesn't care about that. Friends are a distraction. He needs to work hard so he can become a warrior as soon as possible, and help his father achieve his dream of teaching the other clans exactly what happens when they think they're better than HoundClan. Those are all our apprentices, and I've mentioned most of the kits with their parents, but we have one little kit who doesn't have any. Little Russet Kit, an abandoned kit who was orphaned in Moon 11. Despite her cruelty, Cliffdazzle was surprisingly kind to the 3-moon-old kit, who she saw as the future of the clan. Just as Russet Kit was beginning to get comfortable in clan life, Cliffdazzle was killed. The confused little kit spent several days asking where her new mom was, too shocked at losing another parental figure to accept it, until Hushstar, irritated by her questions, bluntly told her that her mother was dead and to stop crying because she was making Cliffdazzle look weak. This, obviously, only made Russet Kit more upset, and she spent a lot of the last moon in the nursery in tears. She's currently being looked after by Burnetshade and Doveprance, but feels like an outsider among their kits, and Plover Kit certainly doesn't help that feeling. She also wanders to the medicine den a lot, and feels comforted by Furflame, Tigerpaw, and the other medicine cats. She doesn't know about Furflame's plans to adopt her, as Furflame smartly decided not to mention it until she's better. The little kit has already lost 2 mother figures, she doesn't need to lose any more. For now, the queens and medicine cats look after the kit, and are trying to bring back the smile they only got a few glimpses of before Cliffdazzle's sudden death. So yeah, that's HoundClan. Like I said, they have a lot of drama, but a lot of Hushstar's supporters also died this year. The silent majority seem to dislike him, but I don't know if anyone will act on it after what happened with Furflame. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed this look at HoundClan. I'm unsure if I'll go through them year by year alongside RubbleClan. We'll have to see what year 2 brings. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more of HoundClan. Also, any name suggestions for the apprentices or kits? I'd love to see them. Year 2 with RubbleClan will probably take a little longer because I have to play through that year in-game and draw all the cats and stuff, so I can't put an exact date on it yet, but expect it in the future. Until then, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Remember to take care of yourself, watch out for rogues and Hush Star, and have a good day.